Maybe even I know the epiphany moments, but there's something in your journey that made your coaching journey itself pivot into a different direction. So, can you
Mm.
share that moment?
I think this was at our second coaching conference in Australia, and I was president of the ICFA, so the ICF in Australasia at that time. And I'd invited John Whitmore out to speak with us because we were mostly very US orientated, and I thought it would be healthy if we had some other views. And so I invited John out because he was seen as one of the grandfathers of coaching, if you like, and his links to Tim Galway and performance coaching. And so he gave his presentation, and we are just sitting afterwards, and we were talking about some work that he was doing in the Middle East, and it was around creating desalination plants that most recently the US has been blowing up. But nevertheless, he sort of turned to me and he just offhandedly said, "There'll be war over water one day." And in that moment, I cannot explain this experience. Like it was just surreal. It was everything just went black. Either the universe collapsed into me or I exploded out into it. I don't know which happened, but there was nothing except I couldn't hear anything. I couldn't, it was just me. And in those moments, it felt like minutes, but it was probably only a few seconds. In those moments, it was like every cell in my body kind of just realigned. And I emerged back into the room where I was talking with John, and he was just talking to someone else. And I thought, they're going to notice that I wasn't here. But no one did. They were just continued talking. And I realized that humanity was on this trajectory towards something catastrophic. Like I had this real feeling of dread in me. And I can put words to that afterwards, but at the time it was just,
Mm.
it was so catastrophic that I couldn't explain and I didn't understand really. But that has shifted what I've done ever since. Like when you've had an experience like that, it haunts you till your grave, I think. You can't not do something about it. And it's not that I resent that, but it is tiring. It has cost me friends. It
Yeah.
has helped me make other friends. Yeah, so and yeah, that led me to my PhD, but it also was influential around some coaching that I was doing within one of the mining companies at the time when I emerged and I realized that they were just extracting everything from everyone. And I thought, I can't do this anymore until I find a better way. And I'm not going back till I find a better way. So that was quite influential in what I chose to do.
Wow, that's so beautiful. And Eve, when Josie was going through this, were you part of her conversations and discussions, or were you going through your own journey of finding where and how nature and coaching can come together?
Well, I think what Josie has described is something incredibly profound. And I can't say I've gone through that moment. Although it is interesting that I remember going to sessions that Sir John Whitmore gave in the UK in around 2008, 9, 10, and being very influenced. And also, I chose to do a master's degree in coaching and development, and it was taught by his former wife, Lady Diana Whitmore, and Hetty Einzig. And the way that was taught was very different. I'm also married to someone who's a transpersonal practitioner, and this idea of connection between everything is something I've been very conscious of for a long time. So I can't say I've had that experience that Josie said. I I think there's been an awareness of it and an alertness to it, but I think the moment for me when I thought, okay, it's time to do something, was really in 2019 when Zoe Cohen, Ali Wybrow, and Linda Aspey published their open letter to the coaching profession, including the professional bodies and the trainers, and asked what were we doing while, the planet was under threat. And that open letter can still be found. It was written on LinkedIn. You can still find it if you put in open letter to the coaching profession. And I mean, of course, I by then I had all sorts of thoughts. Josie was doing her PhD, and yes, I had exposure. One of the people I work quite closely with is Peter Hawkins. So, there'd been lots of work going on. But I think the moment when I decided it's time to do something was when I saw that. And so you could say from that, the Climate Coaching Alliance was born, the CCA. And obviously I knew Ali through work I did in the UK. So I knew her quite a bit. I knew Josie, and for some reason I thought, I think it should be the three of us.